All right, guys, we are back for another Roblox video! Nag is on vacation. He forgot to record the intro. But I got it. I'm doing it today. I'm recording it for him today. Today, we're going to be talking about if old ASTD was truly better than ASTDX.
Oh boy, I actually was waiting until this big ASTDX update drop before making this video because I wanted to be sure that I would not have to be like in the comments, update, they changed this. In this video, I'm more here to explain why so many people prefer the old ASTD over the current ASTDX. Impressively, this whole time that ASTDX has been out, old ASTD had like 0, maybe 10 players on because this game is dead. It's not gonna update anymore. Today, after the big ASTDX update, I just logged into the game and had 200 players. So clearly there's still people that are like, you know what? I'd rather play the old ASTD that has no more new content. Anyways, I got some points here so don't get too off tracked, and they're gonna be bouncing between the two games to show examples. My first point I think is actually maybe gonna get some pushback, but I think I need to say this. There is definitely nostalgia when you're thinking of the old ASTD. You can't just not. It is one of the reasons why when AA came back, there was an implosion of players and support for the game, even though there were still many of the problems that caused the game to die again. And also, old ASTD is a product of its time. I'm not talking about graphics. Honestly, the models aren't bad. They're still like a bit outdated. Like you see this stuff is very like painted over. Unfortunately, old ASTD, you can't like pop in the model of the character in the lobby. I'd have to go in a stage, but sure. But it definitely lacks a lot of modern features that if you go back to this game right now, you're gonna be like, man, why do I have to play it like this with no unit manager, no auto upgrade? Great features we have these days that were missing back then. We just didn't know they were so great back then. So we never felt like we're missing them. And the game had different ways of character of obtainment that we have now. For example, and this actually ties into the next point, monetization of this game is extremely different to ASTDX. Gems, Stardust, and rerolls are the three main monetization currencies between the games, right? Gems, I mean, we're going summon here. The banner system in old ASTD is very similar actually to the new ASTD, where you have like 2 banners and it rotates every hour. Sorry, you have 3 banners in old ASTD, but I'm pretty sure this banner was introduced with World 2. We might actually end up seeing this banner in ASTDX one day, but this like has a 6-star on it. These 2 have 5 stars, kind of like the new ASTD. Then you have the gold banner. Main difference is gems in old ASTD are plentiful, and I mean it. Like you can get tons and tons and tons of gems on old ASTD with the task, the damage task, right? But new ASTD, it is honestly embarrassing how gatekeepy getting gems is in this game. The only time I feel like I ever have a couple thousand gems just laying around is when there's a new update and they're dropping codes. Actually grinding for gems is miserable. You get like nothing. I don't know why they gatekeep gems so much in this game compared to old ASTD, but it's just how it is. I guess we have 3 banners right now, but this is because one of the banners is the event banner. Right now, 6 stars aren't a thing. We have unbound characters which aren't 6 stars. I guess they kind of are. I don't know, there's a question mark in there. So I mean, if you live and breathe grinding AFK this game, you're gonna have enough gems to get the 5 stars. It's not a crazy thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a monetization strategy to get people to buy gem packs, because I most certainly had to. Like, look how many gems I've spent just to get the banner secrets, which we'll talk about in a second again. But obviously the main monetization thing is the traits. Now there's traits. Well, in old ASC, there were no traits. And at first, this trait system seemed fine, but considering how they've been actually balancing the stages, I feel like if you don't have all-star characters, the game is very annoying. You barely can upgrade your characters. which was not a problem in old ASTD. Like, if you really do feel forced to have all-star in your characters, mainly because the farm, which again, I'll actually have another section that I mentioned the farm in more detail. The farm is such an issue. Every single time I open Discord chat, people are asking, is there a 5-star farm yet? It's so annoying. Oh, and also, you know, they have game passes, but this is something that old ASTD also had. The summon thing that they have in this game, as more time passes, the more I hate it. It's definitely a monetization system that they wanted to introduce, so you can have like different summon animations for your characters where you can place the characters animation. But I really wish you could just turn this off, because it just makes so there's a very annoying and loud sound that shows up every single time you place a character, and it takes longer to place a character because of it. So they have like the limited quantity of these, you know, as like a FOMO sales tactic. The premium capsules they already had in ASCD, so can't talk too much about them in terms of something different. So, you know, gems are more annoying to get. And even if you get the character, you need to roll a good trade on them, preferably all-star. Oh yeah, and you need to pull the character 4 times, because there is now the constellation system from Dokan Battle. Just done very much more poorly than Dokan Battle, because in Dokan, you don't actually need to grind for orbs. It's just something that comes with doing stuff. But orbs in this game are something that you need to grind. And because of that, you spend a lot of your time just doing challenges. This game is challenge the game. You just do challenges because you need to do challenges and get skill orbs and do more and more challenges. And oh yeah, you can't AFK the challenges unless you have a third-party macro program. Not like Tiny Task, like an actual image-based macro. Now, old ASTD, we had special summons. And these summons acted a lot like Dokan Battle. You know, I just mentioned Dokan Battle. It's definitely one of their greatest inspirations for a lot of the systems. Even the way the like duo Star Hunt right here is written is just like a dual Dokan Fast is in Dokan Battle. If you can put a picture of a dual Dokan Fast banner, Choco. But this currency is like a premium currency that's, it's very easy to grind, very, very easy. And you just need to pull the character once from this banner. And there's like a summon animation going on. This is before you could skip. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is not a feature that was in the game, skipping the summon animation right here until recently. I don't know. Either way, obviously this looks very old because it is old. But yeah, the premium characters, the 7 stars came from this banner. And that was definitely a monetization system for, I guess, targeting newer players that wouldn't have this currency so abundantly. But if you were a, not even end game player, but mid game player, you did not have any trouble at all with that. You just got the character, there were no traits, you just evolved the character, and everyone had the same character. If you had Madara, apart from perhaps orbs, which were something that you could also grind, everyone had the same unit, which ties in to my next point. And I think this is something that's being very much overlooked. Old ASTD was inherently a multiplayer game. If you played this game at all, you know that aside from, I guess, a story, everything you did was adventure, basically. The grind for the characters, for the 7 stars, which are the characters you really want, and most of all, the activities that required any like brain power. These were multiplayer activities. Raids and adventures here. You could solo a couple of these, but realistically, they were multiplayer activities. You had to go on Discord. There was no matchmaking. You had to go on Discord and click a link hoping it was not a virus and join a group and do a raid. The difference is, if you join the group, most likely than not, everyone had units that are made to beat that stage. Realistically, it would be like a group of 6, or I think up to 8, I don't remember exactly. If 2 people had good units, they would just carry, right? Now, new ASTD is still a multiplayer game. It is not like Anime Vanguards, where all the activities in the game, oh, I just dropped 110. It was like 200 when I joined in like an hour ago. I was sitting here eating, so I didn't even see. In Anime Vanguards and the competitors of ASD now are inherently single player. All the activities can be done solo, and the ones that can't get big pushback. They really do. People want to do things solo these days. But okay, ASCD wants to be a multiplayer game. It's what it used to be. And new ASCD is still a multiplayer game. The difference is we have matchmaking now except for portals. But man, the quality of teammates in this game is super varied because of traits. You go in and grinding the summer event was horrible because you had just the most useless pieces of garbage on your team. I'm sorry, but you just had people people that could not do their job. They couldn't hold their own, and the activities are hard. They're so hard. This game is so hard for no reason. And it's because it's balanced around the traits, right? The game honestly really expects that everyone has all-star on their characters. It really does. So you have this multiplayer game. You need 6 people, or I guess 4. It was 6 for the summer raid, to be good at the game, and that's a lot to expect, man. If you're matchmaking randoms, chances are 1 or 2 of them are going to be trash. There's going to be people looking to be carried. And in this game, if you have one person that's being carried, you most likely are not going to beat the stage. That's how hard this game is. Again, it wasn't as much of a problem back then because honestly, most people that you encountered on the Discord had their 7 stars and they would do their part, right? They would at least help in some way. And honestly, doing the activities wasn't as annoying because of the farming as well. So we're now in an era where people don't want to do multiplayer activities as much as before, just in general. People want to do stuff solo, but this game wants to do new activities in general with players. Like this new portal activity, you're supposed to do this with, you're not supposed to solo this. There's 3 paths. Every single completion, you have to completely change your whole team because there's like element minus 75% damage to a specific element. That means you cannot bring that element. The element's garbage now. So you have to change your whole team, every single portal, and you need to do it for a whole group of players. And to hope that they're good. People are not into that anymore. People are not into hoping that your random teammates are good anymore. They want to do their stuff on their own merit, but the game is forcing multiplayer. And with so much variance of how people's teams are, it just doesn't work as it used to. Even back then, I got super sick and tired of doing multiplayer because I had to carry every single time, but I still had to do multiplayer because this is how the game was. I had to carry, and even still we would lose because people would just go AFK, or they would just be bad, right? So I think forcing multiplayer activities, that every update is forcing multiplayer activities, and every update people complain about it, and every update the player count keeps going down. Like it's not how it used to be. The times have changed. My next point, new ASTD is taking too long to introduce things we already had in old ASTD. Main thing, I just cannot believe we still are using this god-awful farm. Genuinely. I can't play this game anymore because I have to place this fine gentleman here 4 times, manage all 4 of them, and barely make any money anyways. I genuinely cannot believe it's been this many updates and we still don't have a 5-star farm in any way, shape, or form. Same with a buffer. I'm not using this guy. I'm not gonna make the god-awful ritual of having to put 4 Irwins together so that you can have the buff at all times. Dude, please, how can these guys actually release this game with this, thinking we would just be like, okay, let's do this? If you go back to old ASTD, this is how it was back then. That's the thing. In the beginning of old ASTD, you had Bulma, which will actually teleport to the new game. No, please don't. I don't know her name. I don't have caps lock on. No. But we had Bulma, which was a multi-placement farm, right? And then you had Irwin as well. I definitely have them somewhere. Just there's 950 units in my inventory. I'm not gonna find them. I don't know their names. They're like fake names, right? But eventually they introduced like better farms and better buffers to a point where, I mean, you look at my team here, I have Speedwagon, which made a gazillion money and was 1 placement, so you didn't have to manage 4 of the farm, right? And you have Idol, which was not only the buffer, but also a farm, and it would just be uptime 100%, buffing, I believe it was 160%, I remember exactly, it's been a while. There were other buffers as well that were like better, but Idol was a buffer and the farm, so you could bring Speedwagon, Idol everywhere. And having to upgrade 4 farms is so trash. And I honestly wholeheartedly believe that they are balancing stages in ASCDX, expecting you to bring Irwin and have the full ritual, but no one was doing that. I've done multiplayer a lot in ASCDX. No one is doing that. No one wants to do that. The whole farming ritual, or sorry, buffing ritual you have to do with Irwin, no one is doing that. It's so annoying. No one wants to do that. You just had the Idol, you just place her, and she would buff everyone. 100% uptime, you had to do nothing. You just had to click the auto ability button. Why didn't they just release it like this? Why do we have to restart from the garbages of old age, of Irwin, buffing ritual, and multi-placement farms? Like, I get it. AV still has a Speedwagon, multi-placement farm, and it is annoying. Everyone hates it. Like, everyone has been begging them to make another farm, and they just refuse to. But even then, it's not as bad because, for one, the game is slower in AV. Like, there's no 3x speed, right? So it's much more manageable to deal with 4 farms, but it's also annoying. In AV, don't get me wrong. I also wish we didn't have to deal with that in AV. Either way, I would take out auto upgrade from ASCDX if it was to trade it to just having one farm. Genuinely, I'd rather not have auto upgrade than to have to auto upgrade 4 farms and then have to deal with missing the upgrade on my characters when I need to attack a enemy that needs an upgraded character to attack into. It's so annoying. Also, other features. We're only now getting categories in ASCDX, which was a big thing in old ASCD. But I mean, it is getting introduced with the big update we got. We had the Demon Slayer category. So we'll see. Leader skills aren't a thing yet. In ASCDX, I'm assuming they will be. But you can tell, like, they really did start over with ASCDX when, honestly, there are a lot of things that did not need to be started over. Speedwagon, a 6-star farm, should have been in ASCDX day 1. My next point might be a little subjective. I guess everything's subjective, but 7 stars were peak, and their obtainment feels much more meaningful than anything that there is in ASCDX. Getting a 7-star done just felt different than anything ASCDX has to offer right now. Again, that's subjective, and I have no data for that. I just have feel. But like, look at the 7 stars that we had in ASCDX, right? They were cool characters. Berserk Tanjiro. I don't know how else I would call that, but Berserk Tanjiro, when he goes crazy. Kirito was cool at the time. Monster Aizen, Griffith, Yamamoto, Yuha. He used to have a proper model. Manga Gojo, Manga Sukuna, Gear 5 Luffy, Demon King Meliodas, UI Goku, Six Paths Madara. What are the 6 stars or unbounds that we have in ASCDX? Crollo, cool, but he's a banner unbound that you just get. There's no quest to evolve him, you just get him from the banner. Same with Diavodo as well, and same with Kukushibo, which are the coolest ones that we have there. They're all banner characters and they're bad as well, so doesn't help. I don't think any of the unbounds that we got are in any way as cool as the 7 stars that we had in ASCDX. I'm sorry. Again, that might be a point you'd be like, oh, that's your opinion. I get it. I still think it's worth talking about. Now, a much bigger, more meaningful point here. Competition is way fiercer now than it was back then. Back then, there were other games, but really the true games on the genre were All-Star Tower Defense and Anime Adventures. And back then, All-Star Tower Defense had the charm of not being pay to win. It was a game that you just got in, you did your stuff, there was no re-rolling, there was no thousands of dollars to get unique. It was just a cool game, you got your characters, no traits. Now, oh no, Anime World Tower Defense I think was popping up towards the end there as well, but and it was a game decently similar to ASTD, but it didn't have the buzz that ASTD and AA had ever had. I mean, Anime Vanguards. Anime Vanguards right now, I would say is a more free-to-play friendly game than All-Star Tower Defense X. Sorry. I think it is. Anime Crusaders popping off right now. Anime Rangers X, if you want to call it. ALS is dead right now, but again, pound for pound, more free-to-play game than All-Star Tower Defense X. Anime World Tower Defense, RIP. There's the threat of ADX coming back, Anime Reborn coming back. Anime Guardians right now has been AFK, but it was also popping off a bit. Like, there's a lot more for you to play than back then. And ASCDX, I don't think is taking the situation as seriously as maybe they should. They're not competing with AA anymore. They're not competing with the guy that was super pay to win and that, you know, had an impossible feat of getting like a trait that you needed if you wanted to carry the game. I have a free-to-play account on AV that I played like okay amount on, and I have like 3 Monarchs on it. And let me tell you, I can solo everything in the game. Always have been with the free-to-play account. ASCDX, on my paid account, I spend tons of Robux on. I can solo anything because the game's multiplayer, right? Already addressed that point, but still. Anyways, I'm sure at least one of the ASCDX devs are gonna watch this, so I hope they take notes, and if they don't want to, that's fine too. I'm not saying that if a old ASCD came back right now, it would be super popular, because it wouldn't be. Like I said right in the beginning, there's a lot of nostalgia for ASCD, and there's a lot of missing things in old ASCD that we now have, like matchmaking. If old ASCD had matchmaking, like we have on AV now, we had on AA when AA came back, it would be a way better game, first of all. And ACDX also has matchmaking. It's really bad, but it has matchmaking. I'm not saying it would be, but is it that bad to say that I think old ASCD is a better game for those reasons I talked about for 30 minutes? Anyways, let me know what you think.